course's objective. So the course objective is that by the end of the session, you'll gain clarity about how to generate more targeted leads for your business. Okay. Okay. So we're going to be examining the issue about leads in a bit of detail. And in order to do that, we're going to start by finding out who the people in your who the people are in your marketing radar. Now, when you begin to market, there are quite a few people that come into the scene with regards to what you're doing. And we'll be looking at, and some of them are suspects. I'll be explaining who they are in more detail later. Some of them are prospects, some of them are clients, and some of them are repeat clients. So let's look at and see who a suspect is. A suspect is someone who you have come in contact with who may be in your target market or not. So you're not sure. You're still suspecting. You're not sure if they are a potential client or not. And in most cases, people think a suspect is a potential client. People think that a suspect is a prospect. So you need to be able to distinguish between who a suspect is and a prospect is. In most cases, you might think they are one and the same, but they're oftentimes not. Okay. So a prospect, let's see who a prospect is. A prospect, because in most cases what you're trying to aim at is a prospect. You need a prospect. And a prospect is someone who has raised their hands saying that they're ready to do business with you. So they've indicated one way or the other that they are interested in what you have to offer. So basically, what you're looking for are prospects. So out of your pool of suspects, you need to identify who the prospects are. And in most cases, people struggle to generate leads because they are not able to discern or distinguish who a prospect is from who a suspect is. So this is a skill, and you need to develop that. You need to heighten your awareness of this, and it will make things much easier for you. So you won't be running after everyone and anyone. But even with the techniques that we teach you at the Smart Marketers Academy, it shouldn't be that you're the one running after clients. You might have to create awareness of what you're doing. But when you create awareness, what it does is it attracts the right people to your business. Okay. Now, a prospect is a person who is willing to invest their time in consuming your product. So what I mean by that is a person who is a prospect is willing to engage with you. They're willing to spend some time either reading your email or going through a program that you have created. So an indication that they're a prospect is that they find what you have to offer somewhat beneficial. And the other quality, or the other qualifying, the other way that a prospect can be qualified is that they also have the means of purchasing your product. So you might find that in your target market, there are people who are ready to consume your information or your services or whatever you're providing, but they might not have the means of purchasing your product. But however, I would say that when you're developing your services, it is wise to develop things at different price levels so that people at a lower end who are still interested in doing business with you can also take advantage of your products and services. But what I find in most cases, when people are just starting out in business, they think that they need to only provide products at the lower end level. No, you can provide for the people at the lower end level, but you could also create products for other people who could really pay for the value that you are providing. In most cases, you really need to value what you have to provide, because in most cases you have spent a lot of time gaining that knowledge, and you've also invested financially in gaining the knowledge. Okay. Now, a client is a person who has actually paid, they've invested their money in a product or service. It doesn't matter how little that investment is, but the fact that they're willing to pay for something that you provide is a good sign of, well, makes them a client, and it's a good sign if they can pay for a low end product. It's a good sign that when they have the means to do so, they probably would be able to pay for something at a higher level. So what I'd say, I'm not sure what background the people, what backgrounds you're all from, but if you're in the business of being paid for the services you provide, or for providing information, maybe you're a coach, a trainer, or maybe a coach, trainer, consultant, or someone who works in who provides services and is paid, and you're paid for that. Sorry, I've just missed my point now. Yes, it's important that people are able to invest. It's important to have the products at different levels where people can actually test your product and that they're able to pay for it, and hopefully at a later stage they will be they will be able to afford your mid-range or higher end products. Now, so we have the suspect, we have the prospect, and the prospect is one that a prospect is a person that can be potentially converted into a client. And when a person becomes a client, ideally it is wise that the way you build your business is in a way that people can become repeat clients. It takes a lot of time to be able to gain a client. So there's no point in having a business where all they can do is buy one thing. So it's often wise to have a series of products or services that they can benefit from. And in most cases, even if you don't have those, if you haven't provided those products and services, you may be able to enter into a joint venture or partnership with other people who can provide those products or services to your market, and you can also benefit from that financially. So ideally, you're aiming for someone who will become a repeat client, and the way you build your business profitably is to make sure that people can buy from you repeatedly. It takes so much effort getting one client, so it's worth building into your business the capacity for them to do business with you over and over and over. Now, I see some types of businesses. For instance, if a person is a career coach or maybe a wedding planner, once you've served that client once you've planned someone's wedding, you might not have the opportunity to serve them again. So when you're thinking of a business model, you need to think carefully. You need to make sure that it's something that allows for repeat business, because it is then that you benefit from the investment, the original investment you put in getting your first client. What you need to understand is that when you're trying to sell a service-based business, or when you're running a service-based business and when you're trying to sell services, people don't just buy. It's different from when people are buying maybe just products. People want to know that you're credible. They want to taste. They want to they need to trust you before they end up buying. So you probably would have to engage with them over and over before they finally buy. So there's a lot of investment of your time up front. So there's no point in them, in you investing that much time up front, and eventually when they buy, all they have is to buy, to do business with you once. You know, so you need to choose a business, or you need to choose a business type or a business model that would allow for repeat clients. And the final thing, which I haven't mentioned here, is what you want to do is convert your clients and your repeat clients into advocates or evangelists for your business, so that they become raving fans. They go around spreading the joy or the news of your business. Okay. So we're going to look a bit at lead generation, because the whole today's session, the whole webinar today is on how to generate targeted leads for your business. Now, for your business to be successful, you need to learn, or you need to develop the skill of generating leads. You need to be able to generate targeted leads. Or if you can't generate targeted leads, you need to get somebody else to generate them for you. When you're a small business owner, when you're just starting out, it is probably a skill that you would need to learn. Okay. And once you generate your leads, then the next step is to qualify your leads. Okay. Yeah, so I just mentioned that you can generate leads for yourself, or you can partner with others who will generate them for you. Like today, I had some, because I've got a partner that generates certain leads for me, and most of the time when they send me leads, those leads are qualified. They've qualified them before they pass them on to me. That means they are highly likely ready to do business with me or going to do business with me. Okay. So we'll go on to leads 101. So there are different types of leads, so we'll have a look at them here. So so most of the time when we are not experts in an area, we generally have a blanket view of certain things. And in most cases, our lack of understanding has to do with the blanket view that we have of that area. So people would think of a lead, but they don't realize, or they don't, it's not so evident to them that there are different categories of leads, and you can categorize them differently. And like this, yeah. So if you're just starting out in business, you need to know that there are leads and there are leads. And you need to know the type of leads that you are looking for. So the first type of leads that I'm mentioning here are targeted leads. Targeted leads. I'll go into detail with them in a minute. Then you've got untargeted leads. You've got qualified leads, and you've got unqualified leads. Okay. Now a lead is a potential sales contact. So it's a contact from the outside with your business. It can lead to a potential sale or not. Okay. It could come from a suspect. Now a suspect is someone who you're not even sure what they want. They, you know, I've forgotten the word I want to use here, but they haven't told you that they are in the market to do business with you. You don't even know if they're part of your target market. They're not properly qualified. A potential sales contact can come from a prospect. Now, a prospect is someone who is looking for what you do, and they have the means to pay for your services. So there are two things. They're looking, and they have the means to buy your services, your products and services. A potential sales contact can come from an existing client. So an existing client may want to do more business with you. You know, so we need to look after our existing clients, because a lot of times what we find is that once we get into running a business, we get so busy with trying to generate new business that we forget the existing clients. But one great way of getting more work or more leads for your business is by nurturing your existing client base. And ways to nurture your existing client base include maybe you have a newsletter that goes out to them, and maybe you have webinars, that they come for, and through that you're probably able to uncover their current needs, and you're able to provide solutions that would meet those needs, and they'll be able to buy from you. Okay, so a lead, that means an inquiry for your products or service, can come from a suspect, it can come from a prospect, it can come from a client, and it can come from a referral partner. And a referral partner is someone who works in you've entered into a form of well, it could be informal or formal. You've entered into a partnership with them. You've told them that, okay, this is my business, these are the people I work with. If you know of anyone who needs my services, can you please just tell them about me? Or so sometimes it's just someone who just knows that you do something, or someone who you've approached formally to generate leads. So when a lead comes from a suspect, some people get very happy. They think they've got a job. They think they've got a sale. But in most cases, if it's a suspect, there's a possibility that it can lead to business, and there's a possibility that it won't. Now, if it's a prospect, there's a higher likelihood that can turn into a sale. And if it's an existing client, the likelihood is much higher. They've tasted what you do, and they're coming back. So in most cases, they like what you do, and they will the probability that they would be buying from you is quite high. And when it comes from a referral partner, like I said, depending on how well you've educated your referral partners about what you do, it can lead into a job, or it might be a suspect they're sending you, or it might be a prospect. Okay. Okay. Now, what you're after when you're trying to generate leads for your business are quality leads. Quality leads. Like you could see that all of the different types of leads I've mentioned earlier are different qualities. Some are high, some have the, maybe if you look at them on a scale of 1 to 10, you'd know that maybe leads coming from, or inquiries coming from a client about doing repeat business with you is probably near a 10, because they've tasted your wares, they know what you do. From a prospect, probably let's say a 7, they're nearly there. So it'll be easier to convert them, because what you're looking at when you're thinking about leads, how easy is it for you to convert these leads into a client? And if it's coming from a suspect, you're not even sure. So out of 1 to 10, you might say, okay, maybe it's a 1 or it's a 10, and so on and so forth. So you need quality leads. Leads are of various different, can be qualified differently. So your leads need to be assessed for its quality, and that is what a lot of salespeople do. Now, because you're not a salesperson, you might not know this, but this is how salespeople work. Excuse me. They assess their leads for the quality. They go through the leads that come in, and they look at the ones that qualify. They qualify. And basically what they're looking for is if it would result in potential work now or in the future. I mean, in the past, because of maybe lack of systems, if it won't result in potential work now, people would abandon the lead. But a lead can be potential work in the future. So we have systems like a mailing list where you can have if they're on your part of your newsletter, you can nurture those leads till they are ready, till they become mature. And that's one of the reasons why, I mean, I've been going through creating your mailing list, things you can do. It's such an important aspect of the small business. If you're a small business owner, having a mailing list is a must do, because it is such a powerful tool that would help you work on your leads while you're doing other things and help you move your leads from one stage to the next. So ideally, for instance, if you have a prospect, when a lead comes in and you're not sure, you want to find out if they're a prospect, and if they're a prospect, you want to convert them to a client. Once they're a client, you want to make sure that they become a repeat client and also become an advocate. So there's a process you have to take that person through. So you do need a system for that. And most of the time, a good system for a small business owner or even big businesses end up being their newsletter or their mailing process or the email process. Okay, so you're looking at your lead and you're trying to test it. I mean, as I'm sharing now, as I'm teaching now, what comes to mind is, I don't know why, the image of an egg, testing, looking at an egg and seeing, okay, what type of chicken would hatch out of this egg, or, you know, is this egg a viable one? Would it produce a chick? And so on and so forth. So you're testing these leads to see if it would produce what you're looking for in the near future. Because if it would, then you can spend time nurturing it. If it won't, it will be a waste of your time nurturing it. As a small business owner, you haven't got that much time and you haven't got the resources to waste. And it's not like you're being nasty if you're not going to work with them. It's just that you're not a good match for the person or for that particular business. Okay. Now, when you get a lead, the quality would often depend on its source. There's some people that send me leads, and I know that when that lead comes to me, 100% they're ready to go ahead with work. Unless I turn it away saying maybe it's not a good match for me, or so on and so forth. You know, so the source of the lead would tell you its quality. Now, for instance, quite a number of you here are used to forums, maybe on Facebook or maybe on LinkedIn. And there are certain forums that are not properly nurtured. You have a lot of people that looks like a junkyard most of the time. Now, if you're advertising your business in those forums, you'd find that whatever comes out of that forum cannot be, the likelihood of getting quality leads from those forums is at a minimum. Yeah. But if it's a well-nurtured forum, and it's targeted at your market, the likelihood that you get quality leads from that source is much higher. So you're looking for quality leads. Okay. Okay. So once you get the lead, you're looking at this. You're looking for the status of the lead line, and I said it's like suspect, prospect, and so on and so forth. Okay, now what is a targeted leads? These are, so we're talking about a targeted lead now. So a targeted lead is our leads that are generated from your target market. Now it's so important as a small business owner to know who your target market is, because it can save you a lot of time and it can save you a lot of money. So a targeted lead is one that comes out of your target market. Now, sometimes you may be tempted to try to market outside your target market, but if you've gone through the process of building your foundation very well, you've decided on your niche, you've decided on who your ideal client is, and you've clarified who your target market is. In most cases, the best type of leads that you'll be getting will be from that particular market. Okay, so a targeted lead is a lead generated from a market that has already been predefined as being best for you. And there's a program that I'm developing at the moment. It's called the Get More Client Mastery Program. We've got the Get More Clients Quick Start Program, which teaches you to get your first 5 clients in 30 days. And then the second level to that is getting get more clients mastery program. And part of that program, in that program, we teach you how to find a profitable niche. We teach you how to do that in more detail. Okay. Now, if you have not done that process, a lot of your lead generation time and effort will go to waste. So you need to get that right, so that it's easy for you to go and fish in the right pond. Okay. So one of the benefits of focusing on generating target leads is higher conversion rates, because if you go to the if you've defined your target market, you've clarified who your ideal client is, and then you begin to fish within that particular pool. You begin to look within that particular pool for people who are wanting your products or service, and if you get someone who raises their hand that they're interested, the likelihood that you would get a conversion is very high. The likelihood that they will turn from a prospect into a client is very high. Now, when you're defining your target market and your ideal client, what you're actually doing there is what's the word now? You're qualifying. You're in a sense qualifying your lead, or you're qualifying the pool that you will be drawing clients from. So if you don't do that, you still need to do that, because you haven't qualified the pool of people that you're going to start drawing clients from. Okay, and you want to focus on generating not just targeted leads. You want to focus on generating highly targeted leads. So a lot of what I've been saying here has to do with specificity and with focus. So you want to generate not just targeted leads, but highly targeted leads, because those are leads that convert quicker or better. Okay, now let's look at and see what untargeted leads are. Now, if you approach people at random, you're trying to generate untargeted leads. So people are walking up down the street and you approach them, you're not really targeting any particular person. So those are untargeted leads, and the likelihood that they'll become a client or get annoyed and get angry and maybe swear at you is probably high. But the funny thing is that I have people who write me, and obviously it's obvious to me that they know what I'm looking for. So even though I'm not ready to buy, I stay on their email list, because I'm in the pool, I'm in the market for what they are providing. I'll just give an example. I had an email from someone, and they were trying to sell text messaging services, and I had been thinking of text messaging services recently, in terms of trying to use text messages more proactively for marketing. So I had this email come in, and I haven't asked them to send me. I can't even remember subscribing for that newsletter. However, because it was something that I was looking for, I did not unsubscribe myself from that newsletter. So it was a highly targeted marketing effort. So when you target the right people, they have an interest in what you are selling, so it's not difficult to sell to them. They might just keep you there somewhere they might just keep you there for a while till they're ready to buy. Because most of the time when people need to buy, they can't find a vendor for what they want. So if you're already there waiting to sell to them because you've targeted them, they wouldn't, even if you don't know them, they would probably keep you there till they're ready to make that decision. But if you're not targeting, if your leads are untargeted, people might get angry with you. If people are sending you things that you never think of buying. I had somebody trying to send me a holiday to a place that I would never even want to go. And they kept on trying to convince me about buying this holiday, you know, and I had to tell them, you know, I'm not in the market. I'm simply not in the market for this. So they hadn't focused, they hadn't targeted the market. They hadn't thought about who their market was. They were just offering it to everyone and were expecting people to buy because they were their friends. Okay, so you don't want to do that. It's not good for you neither. It's not good for your confidence. And this is why a lot of people don't like to sell, because they think people don't like to buy. But the thing is that people want to buy what they're looking for. When a person is ready to buy, they start looking and they start asking everyone in sight, you know, about how they could find what they are looking for. So people want to buy, but you know, you need to make sure that you're dealing with people who probably would want to buy what you're providing. Okay. Okay, so untargeted leads are maybe people who you approach at random or people who approach you at random. So it could be either ways. People can just approach you to help them. For instance, they might know, okay, Davida, you do marketing, and they might ask you to, they might come and ask me to maybe help them with marketing in an area that I am not ready to, that I have not specialized in, or that I'm not ready to go into. You know, so that is untargeted in a sense. Okay, so an untargeted lead is fishing for leads outside your target market. Okay. Now, unfortunately, like I said, you waste a lot of time and money because not everybody is in your target market. You have to realize that. And you have to be kind to yourself and you have to be kind to your potential clients. Now, qualified lead. Now, with a qualified lead, these are people who have taken an action to express the fact that they're looking for your product and service. So they've indicated one way or the other that they are looking for what you have to offer. Now, it's that action that qualifies them, but they can be highly qualified or just qualified depending on the action that they have taken. And what you can do as a business owner is to have a series of actions in place that they can take that will tell you if they are interested in what you have to offer. Okay. An unqualified lead, that's an inquiry. They have not expressed the desire for your product or service yet. So they're not qualified. The lead has come in, they're not qualified because you don't even know where they stand. You don't know where they stand with regards to your product or service. But it doesn't mean you can, it just means you haven't qualified them, but you can still, you need to have a process of qualifying them to see if, to test them to see if they're a likely client or a likely client or prospect. Okay. Now, is it a targeted lead or not? Are they in the market for your product and service? Like I said, not everyone is in the market for your product and service. So you have to ask yourself, when the lead comes in, is it a targeted lead or not? Now, like I said, you do not want to waste time with people who are not in the market for what you have to offer. You need to qualify your leads. So how do you qualify your leads? How do you qualify a lead? You qualify a lead by running a few tests on the lead. Then you see if they pass the test. Now, if they pass the test, then they're qualified. Now, an example of, for me, one thing I use to qualify my leads is my, I have a 7-day email program that I created. I could put that around in the forums or advertise it in different places. And if people show an interest in that program, I give it an attractive title. And if people show an interest in that, it's my way of qualifying that, okay, this person is a prospect, is a potential client. So if they sign up to my email list, I know that they might be a potential client, but they might not be, because I still have people unsubscribing from my email list. But the good thing is that when people unsubscribe from your email list, all they're doing is they're qualifying themselves. Those people who qualify, who are supposed to be on your, who stay on your list, in a way, may be people who are interested in your product. And if they get onto your list thinking, okay, it's something I'm interested in, people join lists for various reasons, you know. So if they get onto your list and then they later unsubscribe, it's a good thing, because it's better to have a few lists of qualified leads rather than have a big list of people who will never do business with you, or who are not really interested in what you have to offer. Because when you have a list that is highly qualified, when your email list is highly qualified, what you have is that the people on it are quite responsive to what you have to offer. I'll just give you an example. When people join my list, I send some emails. And with the email marketing software, you're able to check who's opened your list. You're able to check how many times. And sometimes I see certain people opening my emails 5 times. Sometimes people do it 3 times. Some people do it once. You know, sometimes it might have to do with their personality, because I'm the kind of person, you know, I might go back to an email off and on, you know. But sometimes it is showing you that this person is highly interested maybe in the topic that you're discussing. And what I've realized is that when I see maybe certain people opening my emails over and over, what I find is that they contact me later, maybe say, okay, can we do some business together? Can we either become a can I refer my clients to you, or can you help me with a particular issue? Okay, so you shouldn't be, I'm just saying that if it will happen to you if you have a mailing list, and if you don't have one, you're going to have one. So you shouldn't let it faze you, or you shouldn't let it disturb you. You know, nobody likes being rejected, so you shouldn't let it disturb you when people unsubscribe from your list, or somebody comes on a call and they leave. They might be leaving for various reasons. It doesn't really matter. The thing is that the people who stay on it are the people who that is for. It's a qualification process. And it's good for you, because those are the people that you want to do business with. Those are the people who are highly interested in what you have to offer. Okay. Now, so basically I'm saying, in terms of qualifying your lead, you need to be able to give them something to test them, to see if they will pass that test. And in most cases, it's like giving, if you give the right bait, the fish would bite, you know. Everybody will bite. They'll bite something or the other. It might not be what you give them that they'll bite something else. But there are people who are looking for what, if you've created your business properly, you would have created it with the needs of your target market in mind. And if you know what their needs, not just their needs, you want to know their wants, or their compelling wants. So if you've created your business or your services to address a compelling want or a pain that they want to get rid of, you'd find that your solution would be what they're looking for, and they would bite, you know. So that's one of the tests you can run to qualify your lead. Okay. Now, it's better to qualify your leads, or otherwise you are wasting a lot of your time. So you do have a system. You need a system in place for qualifying leads. Okay, so how do you qualify a lead? Now, find out what they want or must have. Like I said, you need to find out what they want. But what they want isn't enough. What must they have? I've said it several times on these webinars that you must build your business not just around the needs of people, because when you build it around the needs of people, it's looking at things from your perspective. You think they need that, but that might not be what they think they need. So if you're thinking of it from the client's perspective, you will give them what they want, and in most cases it's better to give them what they must have. Then you would have your business moving, you will have money coming in. You won't be chasing clients, clients will be chasing you. So it depends on how you position your business and how you position your services and products when you're creating them. So if you create what they need, you probably won't sell, and you would find yourself chasing clients and trying to push things on them. If you create what they want, maybe it will be 50-50. Half of them will chase you, half of the time they're chasing you, half of the other time you're chasing them. But if you create what they must have, guess what? They'll be chasing you. They will be the ones after you. Okay. Now, how do you know what they must have or what they want? You need to ask them, or you need to listen. If you're in a forum, you need to listen to the conversations going on there. You can ask them directly. You can ask them through a survey, and you need to. Okay, so you ask, listen, use questions. Now, I had the example I had there was of a waiter. That if you go into a restaurant, and you want to, there's a waiter there. First, before the waiter can offer you anything to eat, they have to ask you a question. They have to listen to what you want. They take your order, you know. So as a business woman, you need to do the same. You don't just give people what you think they want. You have to take their order. What if the waiter did not take your order and just decided that, okay, I'm going to give them potatoes? You know, how do they know that you're not interested in potatoes, or you're maybe allergic to potatoes? You know, so they can't make up. They won't sell much, and they won't have any happy customers returning if they operate that way. So basically, you have to think of your business in that way. Okay, take the orders, find out from your clients, okay, what do they want? Take their orders, then go and create what they want. So in a restaurant, sometimes, they come and take your order, then they go and get what you want, and then they present that to you, and they have a happy customer, you know. And it should be the same way for you and your target market. You should approach your business in that way. If you do it that way, you will have a higher rate of success than trying to force things on people, which is what most people do, maybe naively though. Okay, so like I said, you need an irresistible offer. Now, an irresistible offer is what a person must have. So something they must have. You need to identify what must, in my target market, what must they have, and that will be your irresistible offer. Okay, now your irresistible offer has to be a no barrier offer. If you're testing the market, you have to remove all barriers. For instance, you cannot sell it at a price. If you're going to sell it, I mean, I've seen people with their offers, and okay, it's £1, so they want it, or $1, so they want you to subscribe for something for £1 or $1, and they're just testing you to see if you are if you would convert to a client. So if you're willing to pay £1 for maybe something that's worth ideally maybe $97 or more, then they have qualified that you probably would be a potential client. So what they do is they use an irresistible offer, or you can use an irresistible offer, but it has to be a no barrier offer or a low barrier offer. A no barrier offer will be something they don't have to pay for. But the good thing is that they still have to invest their time in consuming it. Okay, so if they invest their time in consuming it, they're ready to consume it. It shows you at least it's something they want, and they are really, because what you're doing by making it a no barrier offer is that you're removing the risk. And so you need, and so that's one way of qualifying a lead. So basically, it's like fishing. You decide what type of fish you want to catch, then you decide what type of bait you must have to catch this type of fish. Okay. Okay. Now, when it comes to generating leads, people use different marketing strategies. And one of the ones that they use is a one-step marketing strategy. And most people struggle with their marketing because they use a one-step marketing strategy. That means they go out with a flyer and expect to get a client from that flyer. Yeah, so they're trying to get a customer from the flyer or from their advertisement. They put an advert in the paper and expect it to convert into a client immediately. And in most cases, like I said earlier, service-based businesses do not sell like that. If you have a service-based business, they do not sell like that. Now, the other thing is a two-step marketing process. So first, and this is much better for service-based businesses. If you have a service-based business, this is what you want to do. First, you generate a lead. And we've told you what a lead is. A lead is just, you get an interest. You generate a qualified lead. So maybe you create an irresistible offer, maybe an ebook or something, so that they sign up for your services or products. So that's the first step. So it's a two-step marketing process. The second step is then to convert the lead. So once they're on your mailing list, you can email them several times. You can email them several times and eventually convert them into a paying client. But if you went to approach them using the one-step approach, they might say, I'm not ready to become a client. So you've wasted that time. But if you test them, they come onto your list. Then from your list, you email them, you market to them several times. You send your offers to them once, twice, 3 times because they're already in your system. Then you have a higher likelihood for converting them. So use your no barrier offer to get them on your list, and you have many opportunities once they're on your list to make your offer to them. So this is a better way of marketing, and it's a more strategic way of marketing your business. Okay. Now, like I've always said, you need to create a client-centric business. You need to create a client-centered business. A lot of the human nature, we're quite selfish. We think of things from our perspective. But we need to train ourselves. If we're going to ever succeed in business, we need to train ourselves to start thinking from the other person's perspective. And, okay, so I started here by saying that clarity is power. You need to know who your target market is without a shadow of doubt. You need to know who your ideal client is. And we've done that on other courses. You need to know what they want, and you need to know what they must have in so what they want. But the difference between a want and what they must have has to do with time, because they want it, but they might not want it now. But if they must have it, that means it's urgent. They need it now, you know. So you need to think what your irresistible offer is going to be for your particular target market. Once you've got your irresistible offer, you need to locate your clients. And one of the ways you locate them is by thinking or asking yourself the question, what do they consume and where do they consume it? You know, so we're thinking of how to generate more targeted leads for your business. So you need to locate, once you've got your irresistible offer, remember it's like fishing. You've got your bait, but then you have to know where to go and fish for that right type of fish. So you need to think, okay, what do they consume? You know, and where can they be found? Where do they gather? Okay, so what types of information do they engage with the most? What do they read? What do they watch? What do they listen to? Okay, where do they congregate online? You know, are they on social media sites? Do you have to use the search engines? If they're not people who, because I have quite a lot of people are not on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter, or quite a lot of people maybe don't use, some people who don't even come onto social media sites like LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter might use YouTube, or they might just use the Google search engine. So we need to know, you need to really know your target market intimately. You need to know how they think. You need to know how they behave in order to find them, in order to know where to locate them. Okay. Offline, would it be events, and what type of events? Would it be clubs? Would it be business clubs? Would it be social clubs? Would it be some part of the community? What type of groups would they belong to offline? Of course, you know, I've realized that I've built a lot of relationships by going on courses or seminars and so on and so forth. So basically what you're looking for is where your ideal client or your target market, where they gather in large numbers. Because think of it as fishing, even though sometimes I don't like the thought of when I'm thinking about clients, because I don't like it when people think of clients, if they think of their clients in a negative way, because I might be a client, I might be your client. So what if you're thinking of fishing, there will be fish in a particular pool, and the fish might gather, because where we used to live, we used to have a river next to our house, and you would see all these baby fish at the edges of the in the reeds at the edges of the river bank. You know, so there are places that people gather, and that is where you need to go to fish. And it's not just places where they gather. They need to be gathering in those places in large enough numbers for it to be worth your while. Okay. So finally, once you find them, you need to give them what they are hungry for. There's no point in trying to, you know, one thing, just using my husband as an example. My husband, I could try to show him this, show him that, he's not interested. But there's certain things that would interest him, you know, and it always has to do with American football. More to do with it. Most of the time it's American football. He's a different person, you know. So in most cases you might think, is this person not motivated? Is he, you know, why isn't he interested in these things? But there are things that would motivate him. So in the same way, there will be things that motivate you, but there will be things that motivate your target market. You need to give your target market what they are hungry for, and when you do that, you'll succeed in business. Basically, they have a problem, they might have a pain, they might have an aspiration, but what you have as a business person is the solution to that pain, the solution to that aspiration. You know, so they're hungry for something. You need to feed them or give them what they're hungry for. And when you do that, they will keep on coming back for more. So for you to have marketing success, you need to identify a target market. You need to know your target market. You need to know their needs. You need to know their fears. You need to know their frustrations. You need to know their aspirations. And when you know all these things, you need to find solutions that will help them solve their problems or meet those needs or achieve those aspirations, and so on and so forth. Okay, so we've now come to an end of the presentation, but if you have questions, this is where we take them. So if you have any questions, you can type them in the message box and I'll answer them. Or if you want, you can unmute yourself. If you don't have any questions, just let me know that you don't. If you do, please indicate that you do. Okay, Karen, you don't have any right now. Thanks. Any questions? Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just okay, yes, that's important actually, Karen. Very, very, very important. A lot of people don't think about that when they're setting up their businesses. You know, so what you need is a good business model where there are different levels of things that you can keep on selling to the same market. You need to have a narrow market and a narrow but deep market. So it needs to be narrow but deep. That means the same target market, you can offer several things to them. I mean, it's also, for instance, it's also okay for you to have a product that you sell to your market. You might sell it to one market once. It might be a product that you sell to them once, but it might also be a product that you might sell to different markets. So, for instance, you have a product you sell to lawyers. You might have the same product and sell the same product to accountants, you know. But the thing is that each time you move from one market to the other, you're trying to get another client. So you're expending. You could get more returns on your effort, your client getting effort, because that's the difficult part. If you think properly and you plan your business strategically in a way that you can sell repeat things to the same target market. Yeah, so that's a very good idea. Okay. If no comments or no no questions, if you have comments, please put them there. I'm interested in knowing what is going on in your minds as well. I really do enjoy interaction with people because I could also learn from you as well. Okay. If nothing, I'll just would ask that if possible, if you can, please give me some feedback on this particular webinar. It will be very helpful. And to talk about our next session, I've been running these webinars every week, and I've come to a point where I think I might be taking a break, and I'm still contemplating how to go on from this point, because when I run these webinars, I've put a lot of content in, I've put a lot of value in. My idea when I was setting up when I was planning these webinars was to run it this way, the way I've run it so far. However, what I was wanting to move to was a question and answer session where I come in, I might just share something on marketing, maybe briefly for 15 minutes. Then the rest of the time is question and answer. But what I found that on these webinars is that people don't really ask that many questions. Sometimes people do, but there are not that many questions that would engage us for like, let's say 45 minutes or at least maybe 30 minutes. I haven't had, maybe once or twice I've had that happen. So I'm still, I don't know what your preference might be. What would you prefer? And if you can let me know, that would be helpful. If you can let me know now, that would be helpful. But otherwise, it's possible that I haven't made my decision yet, but it's possible that I might have the webinar less frequent. And when I do have them, I might have them either shorter, where I do maybe a 15-minute presentation and question and answers, or I might still run it weekly and also make it shorter, where I have a 15-minute presentation and also question and answers. It does take to create. It takes a lot of time to create the 1-hour presentation as I've been doing it, because it's very, if you a lot of the other free webinars that you probably would find, most of them don't give this much content, but I was doing this intentionally anyway. Okay, so if you want to tell me what your thoughts are and what you would prefer, please do so. Now this is your opportunity. Okay. And time to practice on the webinar. That sounds interesting, Karen, but I wonder how would you want to practice on the webinar? That might be a bit, what do you have in your mind when you're saying that? I'm practicing on the webinar. I mean, it's okay if you don't have questions. That's okay, because sometimes you have to process the information. There's a lot of information. If you could explain what you mean by practicing on the webinar? Maybe have a time to ask. Okay, not a problem, not a problem. Maybe have, okay, not a problem. have a time to ask us how to write up a target question. Okay. Okay. If I know it's a Q&A. Okay. I'll go to Allotted's response first, then I'll come back to yours, Karen. It says, if I know it's a Q&A, and I'll come prepared with questions, but these types, I'm trying to digest what you've shared, which is fine. I understand that. I was on a webinar the other day, and they had ideas on how to do the information as well as the information. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Karen. You can unmute yourself, Karen, if it's easier for you to talk. Yes.
Okay, am I unmuted? Am I unmuted? Can you hear me?
Okay. No, I can't hear you. Let me see. Let me see what might be the issue here. Okay, you can talk now. Let me see. I could probably hear you.
Okay.
I think I had my headphones turned down.
Okay, someone can hear me. Okay.
Are you talking now, Karen?
I am.
Oh, I can't hear you at all. Oh, I don't know why.
Oh.
I can't hear you. Sorry.
That's
I'm not sure what it is.
Okay.
I'm going to do a quick sound check. Okay, Allotted, you said okay, you said yes somewhere, and I couldn't work out what that meant.
Yeah, Allotted said she could hear me. Well, I'll just mute myself again then.
Can you hear me now? Sorry. I'm so sorry, because I was just trying to play around with things over here. Okay. Okay, but so you, how about the frequency? Because we've been running it every week. I know Allotted has attended most of them. What about the frequency? Okay, Karen. Oh, I didn't realize that. How did you find out about the webinar, Karen? Okay. Okay, we probably might be in some similar Facebook groups. Allotted, in terms of the frequency, what do you think? Weekly? Do you mean weekly? Wow. Do you mean weekly allotted? I'm expecting an answer from allotted. Okay, okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, weekly, if I didn't have to prepare much, it's just the preparation, really. I mean, running the webinar wasn't the problem, but the preparation, it takes me nearly the whole week to get everything in place. I've got emails to send out and everything. It was taking a lot of time. But even, so what I'll do, but thanks for the feedback. Yeah. I was thinking once a month, but I'll see how that goes. I'll see what I'll do. I'll communicate my decision in my email to you. Maybe either I don't think maybe if I've made a decision by Friday, you like once a month. Okay. Okay. And allotted, what did you say you were thinking? Let me go back to your. Okay. Okay, okay, not a problem. I think that might be fine, but I'll see how that fits into my business model, because it's also a marketing strategy as well, in terms of the frequency. But I'll see how that works. But okay, so in the meantime, at least maybe we'll give it a break for at least a month. But I'll announce the changes in my newsletter on next Tuesday. I'll announce the changes. Most likely there will not be a webinar next week. I'm just trying to let you know in advance. But thank you ever so much for attending today, and thank you so much for your feedback. It's been helpful to help me move forward with the next steps. Okay, have a good night, Karen. It's night over here. You still have the rest of the day to go, so that's good. Okay. To work. Okay, okay. Interesting. Okay, good night, allotted, and see you somewhere in the forums. I'll check your surname out, Karen. If you're my mailing list, I'll see if I could find you. Yeah. Are you on Facebook? You probably are. I'm not sure if you've left now. Okay. So I'll let you go, ladies, and have a good day or evening or good night, and I'll be in touch with you. Thank you for joining me on the webinar. Bye for now. Here's the exit button.